Not sure if we're live now.
Okay, I think we're live. I think we're live here. Going across multiple platforms right now live. So if everybody's tuning in from different spots, there's Facebook, there's Instagram, there's YouTube. So welcome. We're going to do another meditation here once again. It's this time we're going to be focused on our natural state. A lot of what we're going through right now with this virus or with what people are focused on, it's pulling us into fear. It's pulling us into the mind. It's pulling us into egoic patterns, different habits, different, all the things that we typically operate off of. It's pulling up our past. It's pulling up all these various aspects of ourselves that are not about necessarily our natural state and who we truly are. And if we want to create a shift, if we want to create a change, if we want to maintain a state of quality state of emotion, quality state of frequency throughout this time, then what we have to do is start tapping back into that natural state. And so that's what we're going to do here today through this meditation. Ruby is going to
start it up.
Get it started here. So welcome, everybody.
Yeah, hello. I know there's a lot of people waiting, so hi. I can't really reach in and say hi, so thank you all for tuning in. As Joe said, we're on a few different platforms right now, so if you only see a specific portion of us on Instagram, definitely if you want to see more, go to YouTube. And it's live, but it will also be available afterwards as well, as just in case you can't stick around for the whole thing, or for the people who are watching this afterwards, hello as well. Okay, so today we just wanted to get kind of into it a lot quicker than last time so that we have a little bit more time to kind of, sorry, we're recording audio as well. So we have more time afterwards as well to kind of dive into the subject matter that Joe is actually gonna lead us through a different process. So I really want you guys all to find a really safe space, somewhere that you're free from distractions, somewhere where you can sit without any noise, anybody kind of coming in to interrupt you, a very quiet space that's comfortable for you. You don't have to be sitting on a couch cross-legged in a lotus position. You can lay down, you can sit down with your legs on, your feet on the ground, whatever you feel is most comfortable to you. So I'll give you guys a few seconds. If you guys wanna type in right now if you guys are comfortable, and I can start. I'm not really sure. But all right, so if you guys have found your space, just get comfortable, gently close your eyes. We're going to begin with taking one deep breath in, hold it, and one breath out. And we're going to try something a little different. Another deep breath in, hold, breathe in a little deeper, hold, and a little bit deeper if you can, hold, 3, 2, 1, release, out, and breathe out as deep into your core as possible. So release, release, release. And now just allow whatever frequency or rhythm is most natural to you for your breath. So breathing in, breathing out at your pace. And at this time, with your eyes closed and your breath slow and steady, in and out, we're slowly going to begin releasing all tension from our head, our neck. Allow your shoulders to fall. Alleviate any weight, any tension that can be in your body, in your arms, in your hands, allowing them to fall gently either to your sides or at your lap. Remove tension from your legs down to your toes. Remembering to breathe in deeply in and out. And at this time, begin to feel the weightlessness of both your body, your mind. Remembering to breathe in slowly, deeply, gently, in and out. The purpose of this time is to allow time to steady the breath, but also allow your mind to calm, quiet, and your body to still. And as you breathe in and out, we're going to allow Joe to slowly work us through a process to integrate ourselves and connect with whom we truly are at our deepest core.
So as you continue to breathe, continue to be still. I want you to bring your attention in and around your heart, or your heart energy center. Simply focus on the space by allowing yourself to feel any form of energy, warmth, tingling, or any sensation that happens around that space. Soft, gentle attention is all that's required. And as we center in on this space, notice the feeling of your heart. Notice the energy that it gives off. Allow this energy to expand. Allow this feeling to push outside your body. To extend about 3 meters outside of you. See if you can become aware of roughly how big that heart aura or magnetic field coming out of your body is. You might imagine it as a sphere coming out of your heart and encapsulating your body with a diameter of about 3 meters. See yourself inside this sphere. Now what we want to do is shift the frequency and energy of this sphere such that it represents our natural state, such that it can impact the collective in a way that brings us back to pure potentiality. I want you to imagine yourself in this sphere, feeling completely free. All of your worries, thoughts, stories of what may not be going right, all of that, allow it to fall away for just a moment. See yourself in an environment where you feel completely free. What does that look like? What does that feel like? What are you doing in that space? How does your body feel? In this space of feeling completely free, we are tuning into our natural state, beyond the mind, beyond the ego, beyond the stories of who we think we are, of what our physicality looks like. This space of infinite consciousness is who we truly are. Feel the vastness of this space. Where do you end and where do you begin? As we continue to be in this space, we allow the frequency of the electromagnetic field that our body emits to shift. Our heart is now sending out a new signal, one of complete freedom and potential. As we tap into this space, we can ask ourselves, what is it that I truly wish to do at this time? What world do I want to create? Not just for myself, but for the collective that I feel infinitely connected to. What does that world and reality look like? Our natural state, the space we are feeling at this moment, is what can inform what that world looks like. Acting from this energy represents a new choice. We might look at this feeling we feel now and reflect on how we feel when we're not in this space. What world does that frequency create versus when we are here? Which one might you choose? The power of our natural state is that it takes us beyond all ideas and programmings of how our world needs to be and how we limit not only our individual lives, but our collective lives. How our world should look. And as we can tune into within our natural state, we realize we are infinite potential. And that the opportunity to create a brand new reality, a shift in the human experience as a whole, not just in our individual lives, lies within our natural state. Allow yourself a few moments to really feel this state. Now I want you to imagine you projecting the energy of this state onto the entire collective as an invitation to step into this energy. Now I'm going to turn things back over to Ruby to bring this state back to our waking self.
Taking a few moments to flow through what Joe just gave us. Remain still, remain calm, remain at peace. Remembering who you truly are in this limitless potentiality. Begin to breathe deeply in and out. Slowly bringing your awareness back to your physical self, the material plane. Becoming more aware and at peace with your environment, your mental state, and the spiritual understanding that you have the ability to create a new world for both yourself and the collective. And as you bring this awareness back to self, back to your body, back to the space that you are currently meditating in, take one last deep breath in and out. You may slowly, gently open your eyes. And I'll give you guys all a few moments just to take that in, because I know I don't want to jump right into a conversation right now. So continue sitting, be comfortable. If you want to move around and, stretch a bit, go ahead by all means. I'm gonna put my hair up because it got a little hot. And then I know Joe has a few words he'd like to say, but also, again, just remain in that understanding, in that state of being that you had throughout the meditation. And remember to exude that throughout the week until we catch you next time as well.
At the end of the day, the purpose of why we look at the natural state, why we want to get into that space is, we've heard it say many, many, many times over, even looking at, some of the big quotes out there from Einstein, for example, where, he says no problem can be solved at the same level of consciousness in which it was created. And, that's, as much as that's a cliche in some ways, there's truth behind these ideas. And so much of what we're experiencing in our world is a result of the way we think collectively, the way we act collectively, the way we be collectively. But not only that, the way we are programmed, in a sense, collectively. Collective ideas, collective beliefs, collective misunderstandings, if you will. All of these things inform how we create our reality. And one of the things that I get really passionate about is the idea that so much of personal transformation or personal development work is focused on the individual, which is an important thing in some regards, meaning I resonate with that in that, change starts within. That's the motto of collective evolution, right? And change starts within is an important aspect, because if we're to create change in our reality, we have to be willing to change ourselves, because that informs how we're going to act and be and vibrate, if you will, outside of, our individual self, our individual lives. The challenge is that we have to ask the question, when we change within, what is the software program that we're still running and operating from as to how we project what we want to create in our individual life? And what I get passionate about with regards to that question is that our opportunity here is not necessarily to utilize these teachings of consciousness and these understandings of tapping into our natural state for the purpose of, hey, I just want to live a fantastic individual life where I have the money and let's say, these beautiful opportunities, and I create this abundant lifestyle. What happens if we stretch it further and we stretch beyond the idea of just, our personal lives, our personal understanding of how we want to live? If we stretch beyond that and we ask ourselves the question, are we here to potentially redesign the entire human experience as a whole? After all, if you were to take one drop out of the ocean and change, that lifestyle to abundance and then threw it back into the ocean, is it not still part of the same ocean? Meaning, just because you change that one drop, the totality of that ocean would just still put you back in a general state where you're experiencing, for the most part, what that entire ocean is experiencing. Meaning, here on this planet, we can create an individual abundant lifestyle for ourselves, but we're still on a planet where the general software program, the general story, the general paradigm is stating, well, we're going to act disconnected from one another. We're going to run our economic systems the way we're going to run it. We're going to believe that human potentiality is only about this much. We're going to, go about doing a lot of the things that we're doing that are destroying the planet per se, that are, causing destruction in our overall lifestyle as a whole, both within our health, our planetary health, and so forth. So the question becomes, is it time to not just redesign our individual lives, but the collective human story as well? And I get passionate about that because this is where we start getting into utilizing these states of consciousness to actually begin informing how we turn our vision from this big, and I'm trying to say, this small little hand, which is our personal life, into, I can't even put it on the screen because now we're thinking about the collective. And it doesn't mean that we're not considering our individual life. We absolutely are. But we're doing so in harmony with the entire planet, with our entire reality. Because from my perspective, from how I feel, we're here right now to redesign the human experience as a whole. It's why you're seeing mental health issues, for example, on this planet going like this, huge increases. It's because at the end of the day, we're in an energetic frequency that is so not conducive, and we're living a lifestyle that's so not conducive to how our natural state is trying to actually live and be. And so the alarm bell is ringing saying, hey guys, does this really feel good? Is this really what you want to do, how you want to live? And that alarm bell is the rise in mental health. It's the rise in a lot of the issues that are coming to the surface saying, hey, this doesn't feel good.
Yeah, to bring awareness to it and bring it to the forefront so that we can see it for sure.
Absolutely. It's like a big mirror, right? And so we have to ask ourselves the question, why are we having such a mental health crisis on the planet, right? What are we doing that's contributing to that? And the mechanisms that we're creating to try and alleviate some of those mental health issues, are we presenting them in a way where we're just trying to cope with the current life and lifestyle that we're living as a collective? Or are we presenting them as an opportunity to get in tune with our natural state and then realize we got to change our entire reality? So that's kind of the question. And that's where I'm going to leave things off. And I don't know if you have anything you want to share or add.
I actually wanted to butt in a few times, but at this point, just based off of that, it's also tuning into what's most resonative to both yourself and what you wish the world around you to look like, feel like, and really be. Because at this point, as Joe was saying, the collective drop is really, say, singularly as yourself, as an individual, you are that one drop amongst the collective, but you are also the collective as in the entire ocean itself, because the universe is within you, you are the universe. And so that drop creates an emanating frequency that I wouldn't say disrupts or merges with everything else, but it's the ebb and flow. So everything that you yourself are feeling, other people are feeling as well, which brings up the mental health issues that we're seeing and how we're all kind of relating to each other at this time, both within the pandemic as well as prior to and afterwards, right? We're always going to be consistently sharing this experience because we coexist in this collective experience. And we're here, as Joe has been saying, to redesign this human experience. And the time is now to really think about what it is that we really want to be creating for ourselves, again, individually within our own little sphere, and as well as collectively. And I think, I can leave it at that because Joe kind of went pretty deep in there. But again, thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm glad we kept this exactly at 30 minutes, which is good for everyone. We will be doing this, we're hoping bi-weekly and if not weekly. So you'll for sure see us at least twice a month, and if not 4 times a month. If there's anything else, if you guys will have any questions or anything you'd like for us to focus on next time.
Did come in there.
Should
we I take a couple minutes? This is the question that came in from Simply Bakram. I hope I pronounced that correctly. Is essentially that's a very long sort of answer. We can simplify it in a way that at the end of the day, how do we change our reality? I mean, it starts
within.
from
Change starts within. That's our thing.
Well, yeah, it starts with asking, how do we create our reality? We create our reality from what we believe and how we act, right? And how are our beliefs formed, right? And these are just questions. I mean, we won't go into the full explanation right now, but when you start thinking about, how are our beliefs formed? How do we decide how we're supposed to live on this planet? How do we decide how we're supposed to live in our individual lives? Where did those stories, those programs, those belief systems come from? And if those programs and stories and belief systems created the decisions that we make, meaning whatever jobs we chose to take, whatever decisions we decided to make in our life that led us to where we are today. But if we expand that out further and think of the collective, well, the collective story is that we're all sort of separate and disconnected from one another, and we go about sort of competing with one another in an economy to make money, to pay for goods, to pay for things that keep our lives fed, and to keep roofs over our head, and all these different little ideas and stories that we've created. Right? At the end of the day, where did all these things come from? It came from a set of belief systems, a set of ideas, a set of beliefs, an understanding that there's a limitation to who we are, and and all these stories are played into it. And again, this is a very simple explanation. So
just quickly,
yeah.
I know, just to simplify what you're about to say, my sister actually, she asked, what are 3 things we can do today to begin this transition? Right. And I think that'd be a good way to kind of.
For sure. Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, it's like when you think about that, all those things formed our reality, we have to look at those and say, well, if all of those things are forming our reality, but further to that, if whatever happened to us in the past, this is the biggest one, whatever happens to us in the past, both collectively and individually, forms the belief systems, the emotional states we hold on to, the things that we're trying to avoid, the fears that we have, right? If all of these things have informed how we are, then we need to change that story. We need to change all of the neurological pathways, all of the synapses, all of the things that are now wired. Like if you go and you have an experience, when you learn something, for example, you make neurological connections. Those neurological connections then form how your brain is going to respond. Now we're getting a little bit technical with this. We don't need to get that technical, but the essence here is that when you look at your past, and your past starts to create neurological pathways in your brain that causes you to act a certain way moving forward, you need to break those neurological pathways. Well, in order to break them, you get into your natural state. You start breaking away the patterns. You start realizing who you truly are from a state of complete potential, and you utilize that to start making changes. So if we were to start thinking about how we were going to go about doing simple things today to make transitions, it would be, how much time are you spending operating based off of the way your conscious mind is currently just acting and programmed, right? Your subconscious mind. How much time are you just looking at everything around you that, in the news and the media, that's just literally saying, oh, well, this is how the world is. This is how the world should be, and la-di-da-di-da. And it all is
fear. This is what.
Right. It's all reaffirming all the things that we've seen and done and played with in the past. So we need to start changing that environment. We need to start changing that message. We need to start changing what we're hearing. So one, learning new things, looking at different perspectives. This is a very simple way to start realizing that there's one way to look at it, there's another way to look at it, and even another way to look at it. And as we're learning those new things and hearing different perspectives, right, and we can see this right now with the coronavirus, the mainstream media perspective of this is an extremely limited perspective as to what is going on. You can look at probably another 20 or so different perspectives on what's going on, and you'd go, hey, actually, there's a completely different story, and I might actually feel a lot more hopeful about what's happening, or I might feel a lot more just in general, just a lot better about what's happening, because I'm not hearing just that one mainstream perspective, right? So learning new things, looking at different perspectives is a great way to start. What that's going to do is it's going to start to say, hey, these beliefs that I have, maybe they can be challenged a little bit. Maybe I can expand my perspective, right? So now you get into the next thing, right? Which would be practicing entering into different states of consciousness, different states of mind. So like we just practiced here, and this, meditation will be available on YouTube and so forth, so you can check it out again. What we're doing with this is we're we're getting out of our known mind and our known reality. And you may have experienced this as you were doing the meditation. You may have started to feel that your idea of who you were, your physical body, your name, your race, and your skin color, and your traditions and cultures, and that all starts to fall away. And you start to tap into complete potential. And when you do that, you start to realize, well, one is extremely limited reality where I've identified and defined myself as this, and it's this little thing. But you're like, wait a minute, I'm in a state of being right now where I realize I'm infinitely everything. Hold on a second. This is one experience and this is another experience.
Which one's more fun? Honestly.
Right? It's a choice. There's no right or wrong. Which one's more fun, right? So practicing getting into different states of being starts to allow you to realize there's something different than the programmed reality that we've chosen to accept. But not only that, it starts to bring in a new energy into your body that allows you to actually make changes. And now this is where it gets a little more complex. We're not going to go into, but when you're in those states of beings, you can actually start to access aspects of your autonomic nervous system. You can do this through breath work as well. That actually starts to go in and change the way your body, your genetics, your belief systems, your neurological pathways, change the way it's all programmed. Now, this is more advanced stuff. We're not going to be able to just get into it right now, but just simply practicing the states of being, getting into the state, you're changing your energetic frequency. When you change your energetic frequency, you're automatically going to have different perspectives. You're going to be more sensitive to different things. Yeah, your immune system will change. What you attract, what you see, what you look at, all of these things are going to change. Even after 4 days, 5 days, 6 days of doing this, 10, 15, 20 minutes a day, you're going to have a huge difference in what's going on. It's literally that simple. So that would be another good thing to practice, is just getting into these types of states of consciousness. And then the other thing is asking yourself, so stretch again beyond your individual life for a second and question, what do you really want the world to look like? Most people, right? And the way we've been programmed, the way we've been brought up, the way we've been brought up through the education system, through what our parents taught us, through what the media teaches us, what our governments tell us.
Yeah, media isn't just what you watch on the news. It's also media that you're consuming, movies, shows, music, everything. So also take that in consideration, because I had a really deep conversation with one of my friends yesterday about diet in terms of what we consume. And it was everything between what you eat and what you consume, what you listen to. So just as a tidbit before to keep
for sure. No, absolutely. Those are important points. And this is a reality of the situation is we so often don't ask ourselves from our own state of infinite potential, what do we want to see? Instead, we're just told. And then we're taught to accept that. So the third thing we can practice here is, what do you want to see in your world? What do you want it to look like?
What do you want it to feel like? And
the kicker I'm going to add to that is, try and go beyond, and I'm pointing to my mind because that's where we get programmed. Try and go beyond the world you see today and what you think is possible. So step back to when you were a kid, right? And you step back to that experience where you start to realize, when I was a kid, I had this imagination and I believed anything was possible. And I believed I could do all these different things. And then someone told you, that's unrealistic. What that really meant is, our society lives in a box of potential that's about this big, right? And what you're saying you want to do doesn't fit into that tiny little baby box.
And so you start to doubt yourself.
Who made up the box? Why does the box have to be that way? And why are we all agreeing? Because this is where people get into blame, and they start to say, oh, well, the elite out there, they made the box. And now, it's their fault that they're suppressing us and putting us in this little box. It's like, no. We're all agreeing to be in the box. Nobody made you, and I did this morning, pick up your keys, put it in your ignition, drive to the area where you cast your ballot and you vote for a president or whatever it might be in whatever country you're in. Nobody made you do that. You got up and chose to do that. You did that based on your belief systems. based on how you felt that would actually impact your reality, right? So what's the reality of the situation here? Is that you have a choice, and then we collectively have a choice to do something different. Absolutely. And to think about how our reality can be different. So you have to ask yourself the question as the third step here, what do you really want to see in our world? How do you want it to function? And dream big, go beyond what you think it should look like, i.e.
or what you think is possible.
Right.
Go way beyond what you've been told is possible. That's like the biggest thing.
Right. Because a lot of people will say, well, I just want like, if the elections were just fair, and, if the economy just wasn't based on debt, that would be great. It's like, hold on a second. Don't limit yourself. Like, go deeper. What do you really want your reality to look like?
Yeah, what do you want to experience? What do you want to feel like? What do you consistently want to see? How do you want to interact with people? What do you want? Like everything. Just think about it on all levels. I mean, at least that's how we usually go about it.
And think about it and feel it, right? When you're in your natural state, you feel what can be possible. So feel it. Bring the feeling into it. Bring your intuition into it. Stretch beyond the programmed reality. And that exercise right there will inform a different reality. It will change your conversations.
It'll change your belief system as well, because you start to reprogram basically deprogram yourself to reprogram yourself and remember who you truly are, but also like reactivate that limitless potentiality that we were talking about within the meditation, because we are limitless beings. We are able to create and have and interact in whatever way we wish to. And so we have the choice, so we might as well make it, as opposed to letting other people kind of steer and guide and drive us into whatever they wish in terms of their agenda. So.
Absolutely. That's it. That's all. And so remember, it's like, if we're infinitely powerful beings, why is it that we get so caught up in blaming somebody else for the life we're living? If we're infinite potential beings, someone else's ideas and infrastructures and aspects of oppression and so forth are only powerful to the point that we allow them to be powerful. Now, that is true as an individual and also as a collective. And the collective reality changes when more individuals choose to take that route of being and stepping into your power. So that's what this is about.
That's it.
Right?
That's all we needed to say.
Right? It's like, this isn't about, oh, well, someone else is going to change it, or I'll just wait till other people do it, or, oh, you know what, but the world's too big and things won't change. If you say that,
and other people say that, and
other people say
nothing's going to change. So exactly. If we alter that and begin to do the opposite and begin to really believe that change is possible, and we begin with ourselves, then it trickles and creates a ripple effect, which is that drop in the water in the ocean that you are. So anywho,
and that's all it's about.
It.
Life is about choices. There's no right or wrong in anything we've talked about.
No.
It's a choice, and that's it. You make whatever choice you feel you want to make at that given moment. Anyway,
thanks,
that's
guys.
it. That's all. Thanks for tuning in.
I think that's it.
Yep. All right. We're good.
Bye, guys.
Take care. Much love.
I don't even know how to end this one.